everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I want to share with all of you my initial impressions of the very viral TIRTIR Mask Fit Red Cushion Foundation. So I've been seeing this all over social media and I was on the fence about this for a while, but recently I ordered some skincare from YesStyle and figured this was not that expensive at all. It's like less than $20, so I thought I would try it out with you guys today. I picked up the shade 23N Sand. I was totally just shooting in the dark here. I have no idea whether this is going to be the right shade for me. I'm a little bit dubious since I've tanned a lot recently in the summer, but let's see if this works. I also brought out my other cushion foundations to do some swatch comparisons with you guys. So if you're interested in learning more about this product, then just stick around. So first off, here's the box that the foundation comes in. It has a 12-month shelf life. And it says on the back that it prevents smudging of makeup in the mask. So 24-hour makeup persistence in the mask, which is pretty impressive. I don't actually mask that much nowadays. Where I live, folks don't really wear masks that often anymore, but it's nice to know that this is basically supposed to be transfer proof for 24 hours, which is quite impressive. And here we have the packaging itself. Really nice, actually quite luxe considering the price point. I think it looks very nice and modern. And this is made in Korea. Just for size comparison, here's one of my current favorite foundations. This is the Jung Mool Cushion Foundation. And then there is a button enclosure, so you just press that and it opens like this. You have a nice size mirror and this cute oval sponge. And then let's open this up. So I'm just gonna pull this out. Interesting, so it kind of opens like this. And I've been really intrigued by this product because they do have a lot of shades. So TIRTIR is kind of the first Korean brand that I know of, at least, that's come out with so many foundation shades, especially on the deeper range. And that's something that really impressed me because if you watched my full face of Korean makeup, I did a haul like I think a year or so ago after I went to Seoul, and I was really disappointed with the shade ranges they had in store. So I picked up this Jung Mool foundation and this Hera foundation, and for both of them I picked up the deepest shade in store and they were really, really light on me. I will say the Jung Mool now works well for me in the dead of winter, but it was pretty disappointing that they didn't have any shades in store that would work for me in the summertime. So let's see how this goes. The cushion fits very nicely into this, and so I'm just going to kind of press this to get a nice even coverage. And I'm going to start by just putting this on half of my face. And just to show you guys the shade match, I feel like actually I didn't do a terrible job. I saw in some videos that this product does oxidize, so actually, all right, actually I'm quite impressed. I think this is a decent shade match, especially if this oxidizes a little bit. And the coverage is really intense. Wow, very impressive. Like this was just one layer, and I actually feel like I could have put this all over my face, not just half. That is something that impresses me a lot with Korean cushion foundations. They're very lightweight, but they offer a ton of coverage, which is especially great in the summertime when you don't want to have like a lot of layers of makeup on. So I'm just going to press this into the skin. It's applying very nicely and evenly. Because they're cushions, they have this sort of liquid texture to them that I feel like makes it really easy for them to just meld into the skin. But I do feel like this is kind of a heavier layer than I would normally want to go in with. Again, I kind of wish I put this on both sides of my face, but at least this way you guys can really see the impact of this product. But yeah, there does feel like there's kind of an excess amount of product. I might actually sort of try to move some of this to the other side, but here you can see how it looks on half of the face. Really, really perfecting. Wow. I feel like looking at myself in the monitor, it looks like I have a mask on this side of my face, so that's the one thing I'm not a huge fan of. But let me see actually now if I use what is left on this cushion, sort of try to move things onto the other side of my face just to reduce the coverage a little bit, whether that helps. I will say this is not like going into the skin as easily as my Jung Mool, but that might just be because I put too much on this side. Okay, yeah, I think this is good with like kind of a lighter layer like I'm putting on this side of my face. So actually, I guess this is good. I can show you guys both ways, like sort of a heavy layer and then a light layer, just so you can see the different impact you can get with this. Alrighty, yeah, I think I'm definitely liking it more on this side of my face because I feel like it's a lot lighter weight. It feels more comfortable. But let me try to pick up some of the excess on this side. So let's just push it in more. But yeah, one thing I love about Korean cushion foundations as well is that they really work well as a one and done complexion product. So I find when I use them, I don't need a separate concealer. And indeed, when I was shopping in Seoul, that was one thing that struck me, at least a couple years ago, that they didn't really have that many concealers in store. It was just sort of like you can pile up your cushion foundation to get the coverage that you want. All right, there we go. So here is the heavy layer, here's the lighter layer. I think this looks pretty good overall. Definitely very high coverage if you layer it on. And in terms of the finish, overall, it's giving me that sort of glass skin dewy effect, which is quite nice, but we'll see when this sets whether it is transfer proof like the name implies. Before we get into that, let me just give you guys some swatches so you can see this shade versus some of the other shades. So I'm actually going to use a finger swatch for this, kind of just take a little bit on my finger and put this one on top. So here is the TIRTIR 23N Sand. Next, I'm going in with my Jung Mool, since this is my current favorite. I really, really love this. And you can see this is a very good shade match for the inside of my arm, quite a bit lighter than this shade. And I have the Jung Mool in shade medium. The Jung Mool is also more of a dewy finish. I definitely need to set that one. For this one, based on the advertising, I'm not going to set it since it's supposed to be transfer proof just on its own. And now let's go in with the Hera. This one is way more expensive than the other ones, though actually my least favorite complexion product. And actually, ooh, it might actually be kind of dried out. Let me see if I can get enough to swatch. Might not actually have enough to swatch in here. Interesting. This is a very matte formulation and I am not a fan of it. It looks very dry on my skin. This is the shade 23N1 in Hera. So you can see this is actually lighter than the other two, even though it's also 23. And then finally, I have this cushion. This is the Daydream cushion from M Cosmetics. So this one is the one non-Korean cushion that I have. So this one is the shade Sweet Secret. And I do really enjoy this one. This is like the first cushion foundation that I ever tried and really fell in love with. So here's Sweet Secret, a lot more yellowy and undertone than the others. So bringing you guys closer, here we have the swatches from TIRTIR 23N Sand, Jung Mool Medium, Hera 23N1, and Sweet Secret from M Cosmetics. They're actually all quite different, surprisingly. And here as well is a close-up of how the complexion is looking. Definitely still quite dewy right now. Let me kind of touch my face. It's a little bit tacky on touch right now, so I wouldn't say it's totally set. But I'm gonna go off camera, do the rest of my face, and then check in with you guys to see how this has set down. So here we have the completed look. What do you guys think? As always, the products will be linked below in case you're curious. And for today's video, I tried to use as many Korean products as possible just to kind of go with the overall K-beauty vibe, though of course this look is much more colorful and intense than what that style would normally be. As I was putting this on, I did gather more thoughts about the cushion itself. So for one, in terms of setting, for context, today is a really warm, humid day where I am, so I'm definitely gonna have to keep playing around with this. but it's not fully set. That is one thing that I noticed. So the areas of my face that I went in with bronzer and blush, that kind of set things, and you can see almost how those areas are a bit more matte in comparison to areas like the center of my forehead or chin where I haven't put any powder products. Those are a little bit shinier, and if I touch them, it still has that slight sticky, kind of tacky sensation, and my finger kind of has a little bit of shine to it wherever I touch the product. So that's interesting. I feel like if you did wear a mask, you're not necessarily going to get pigment transfer, but there might be a little bit of tackiness that transfers off. Like when I touch my face, I don't see any pigmentation come off, but I still feel like there's something coming off, like the product itself. In addition to that, I did take a closer look at the complexion once I was putting on all these other products, and I did find that in certain areas like my nose, it wasn't that smooth, and so I tried kind of building it up with another layer to just smooth things out, and that didn't really go the best. So that was one thing that I wasn't a huge fan of. I think now, especially with some powder, it looks fine, like it sort of has settled in. But I did want to mention that because if I'm comparing it with my Jung Mool, I feel like this one just looks super smooth on initial application, whereas the TIRTIR can be a little bit patchier if you look really close up. On the whole though, I do think it looks pretty nice right now. Very high coverage, not too matte, not too glowy. Though I do think for this kind of warm, hot weather, it would be better if I had powdered it. So zooming you guys out, overall, I am pleased with this on my initial impression. I think, especially for the price, this is a really great product and formulation. Personally, I am a big fan of cushions, especially for travel, because you don't have to pack a separate sponge or brush. And I do like that they kind of double up as concealer as well. And today I also technically used it as eye primer, and it wasn't the best as eye primer, but it was okay. In general, I would say that because it didn't 100% set down, the powder products did take a little bit more blending to get them to be smooth. They were catching a bit on this product, but not as bad as I sometimes experience with glowier foundations, so still able to make it work. Overall, at least on initial impression, I would say that I think this is definitely better than the Hera. This was like my least favorite complexion product ever, despite the price. So this is definitely way better than that one. It's not drying at all on the face. I do tentatively like it better than the M Cosmetics as well, just because I feel like it's a lot more perfecting and provides a lot more coverage, despite being super lightweight on the skin. It hasn't, though, exceeded my Jung Mool, at least in this initial lineup. I'll have to wear this side by side one day to really compare, but the Jung Mool is just really beautiful to apply and just sinks into the skin immediately. You really don't have to spend much time kind of pressing it in. Whereas I did feel like for this one, I had to spend a bit more time pressing it in. And side note, I realized afterward that in some other videos I watched, they recommended sort of patting off the cushion before applying it directly to the face so you don't apply excess product. I will try that in the future, but for context with these other cushions, I never do that and never have any problem with just applying the cushion directly. So that's why I did it this way today. And I did feel like this product was a bit more finicky than the other cushions I've tried, just in terms of needing to pat it in more, having a bit more of that excess product issue, and as a result having a bit more patchiness in certain areas. Like it was more obvious where the lines were around where I had patted it in. That said, on initial impression, I do like the texture of this. I do like the idea that this can be worn without setting. That is one thing it has over the Jung Mool, which I definitely have to set right away before I put any additional products on. That said, I don't think I would feel super comfortable putting a mask on right now because it does still have a bit of that sticky texture to it. So just wanted to call that out in case you want this product because you really don't want to feel like anything if you're touching your face with a mask or with fingers. But I do think that it's true that this won't transfer much pigment. That is one thing that I do think is quite impressive. So that's all for my initial impressions. Let me know if you guys would be interested in further updates about this product. And if you guys tried this product, please share your experiences in the comments below as well. So that's it for today's video. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you all so much for joining me today, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.